Explain your wardrobe, your motif.
Well, we take a day at the water park very serious. We don't mess around.
Today we are ranking the albums of Alice in Chains, starting with Facelift in 1990. A truly classic debut full-length after an initial 1989 demo and the We Die Young EP, but I have to say, this one never really resonated with me quite like some of the albums that we're going to get to. That said, it starts very strong with We Die Young, which kind of, for better or worse, is setting the tone for their entire career. This followed by the even stronger anthem, in my opinion, Man in the Box. Then the slower, bluesier Sea of Sorrow. I'm not as much of a fan of this one, but I really dig that little piano hook. Now, if the entire album was made up of tracks that strong, then this would probably be an easy S tier. But after that song, I've always found it to be a little bit hit and miss.
He be tripping.
Like, it has this great misery-soaked dark atmosphere if you're just looking to play it like alone in the dark by candlelight. But I get a little bored if I'm using it for more than just ambience. In the end, this is going to come down largely to personal taste, as always, really, but I prefer just a little bit more in the way of hooks. And in that vein, I do enjoy some other tracks like Ain't Like That and Put You Down. I'm gonna put this one at great tier. Next up is the Sap EP in 1992. Now, I'm not covering every EP and non-LP release here, but this is one of the two fairly important ones in an already kind of short discography, so I will include it. A softer, more acoustic turn for the band. We get Jerry Cantrell's first appearance on vocals, as well as guest spots from Ann Wilson, Chris Cornell, and Mark Arm. Now, according to Jerry, this EP was born out of sessions originally just planned to record a song for the movie Singles that they also appeared in.
We've got records, a big record just broke in Belgium.
The standout for me on this one has definitely Got Me Wrong, which feels like it could be right at home on Jar of Flies, which we will get to in a bit. It's got a fun groove to it. The others I find a little bit forgettable, kind of more generic campfire acoustic. Not bad, and Lane sounds great as always, but yeah, it's just okay. So I'm going to put this one at good tier. Next up, we have Dirt in 1992. One of the best album openers of all time in Them Bones. Like, my God, what a song. That scream, that riff, the chorus, just a perfect track. And from there, the quality just continues with Damn That River and Rain When I Die. This is what I talk about when it comes to like the perfect combo of darkness with catchiness. Slowing things down for the haunting Down in a Hole, contrasted by another rager in Sick Man, and then of course the track that started it all for me, hearing it on the radio like as a wee little lad. Seriously, I remember hearing that song come on the radio for like the first time as a kid in the back seat of the car, and it felt like something honestly changed in me. They were laying some serious foundations for where I am today. And it continues. Junkhead, those guitars like waves of heat in a desert on the title track. The metal chugs and unhinged vocals of Godsmack. Great dynamics and sing-along moments on Hate to Feel and Angry Chair, and then closing on just as strong a note as it started with the Fiery Wood. Absolutely incredible. One of my top 10 favorite albums of the 90s overall, I'd say, and I'd go so far as to call it a 10 out of 10. It is going to perfection. Y'all, if you're enjoying the video so far, be sure to hit the like button and comment your own rankings, because this is just my opinion as always. Also, longtime viewers may have noticed, yes, we have a new mask. The lady got it for me. Change is always hard, so I'm interested to hear what people think, but the old one, man, it was deteriorating fast, and they don't sell this mask anymore, so I've had to like duct tape it and whatnot to keep it from completely melting. It was time for a change, I think. But moving on, we have Jar of Flies in 1994.
It's alright. There comes a time.
Now, this is the EP that really made me want to include them in the list because, man, kind of like the Broken EP from Nine Inch Nails, I feel like this is a critical part of the discography. 7 tracks with a runtime of under 31 minutes and with more major hits. Super moody start with Rotten Apple, followed by the sorrowful Nutshell. The sadness on that one is just palpable. And that's just getting started. The crown jewel here is definitely I Stay Away, with that incredible chorus and complete with full string orchestration. Also another head bobber in No Excuses, always happy when that comes on the radio. Solid instrumental in Wail and Whip. Don't Follow teeters back into slightly more generic territory, but I dig a harmonica, and that track also ends up ending pretty strong. Dig the bass on Swing on this as well. Bit of a strange one for them, but pretty interesting. It's not perfect, but it belongs pretty high up in their discography. I'm putting it at fantastic. Next up is Alice in Chains in 1995. Lane's final album with the band and recorded very much in the depths of his heroin addiction. Right from the ominous chug of Grind, I feel like that kind of permeates this record. Brush Away is another bassy head bobber, but things start to go a little off the rails for me already with Sludge Factory. Like, I dig some experimentation, but this one feels a little bit too freeform for me. But this wild side gets offset by another very radio-ready single in Heaven Beside You, continuing a lot of the sound of Jar of Flies.
Like the coldest winter chill.
Also dig the pitch shifter effect on Head Creeps and the driving palm mutes and general unsettling vibes of Again. God Am and So Close are also pretty solid. A bit overstuffed at 64 minutes, you could probably cut down a few tracks like Shame on You, maybe Nothing Song, and at least part of the lengthy and kind of dull Frogs and Over Now. I'm ultimately gonna put this one at great tier. Staley recorded 2 more tracks with Alice in Chains, Get Born Again and Died, which were released on the Music Bank box set in 1999. Of course, there's also the live unplugged set, which I considered including on here, but I don't generally include live albums, but I highly recommend that if you haven't checked that out. In 99, he also recorded vocals for the supergroup Class of 99, which had members of Rage Against the Machine, Jane's Addiction, and Porno for Pyros. But after this, he became much more reclusive and sadly passed away from his drug addiction in 2002. And we wouldn't get another album for many years later until Black Gives Way to Blue in 2009.
It's your decision.
Changing vocalists is always a difficult proposition, but even more so when yours is a legend that was gone too soon. And now it's been 7 years since his death and 14 years since your last album. As a result, maybe somewhat unfairly, I avoided this album for a very long time. Like, I just couldn't even see the possibility of enjoying this band with anyone but Lane on vocals. I was more than happy to just stick with the 90s albums. That said, I heard a lot of good things from both critics and listeners alike when it came out. William Duvall stepping in, sharing vocal duties with Jerry. And yeah, right from the top, pretty entrancing opener with All Secrets Known, and honestly, largely capturing a lot of those original vibes. And then that guitar hook kicks in on Check My Brain, and I gotta admit, this is definitely Alice in Chains.
So I found myself in the sun. Oh yeah.
Last of a Kind also brings some great guitar work, though the vocals don't quite hit the same, but I mean, who can really? But A Looking in a View hits better for me on that front. That one has some real venom to it. Love the explosive shifts on Acid Bubble, Your Decision, and When the Sun Rose Again, bringing back some of that dark acoustic energy, the latter also giving a little Something in the Way. Closing strong too with Private Hell and the title track. Very strong comeback, pretty consistent. I was surprised actually with how much I liked this one. I'm going to put it at fantastic. I'm not sure why. I just noticed these were out of order, but whatever. They followed that up with The Devil Put Dinosaurs Here in 2013. Another pretty solid opener in Hollow, although this is another one where it feels a little bit kind of like secondhand to me, so to speak. And that feedback continues into other songs here, like Pretty Done. It feels more like I'm listening to sort of like a band inspired by Alice in Chains, or even worse, like a cover band at times. Like the general hallmarks are there, but everything just feels slightly off. I think some of it may be in the production. Stone is pretty strong though, thanks in large part to the massive sounding riffs. It's just missing still a little bit of that special sauce in the vocals.
I know you think I'm wrong, but I'm not your tour guide.
I think that Voices and Scalpel, though, are good examples of tracks that just feel fundamentally wrong to me. Like, I don't want to say that this band can never write a more upbeat sounding song. In fact, they have in the past, but this just feels so kind of bland and honestly kind of corny to me. It's by no means a bad album. I just don't find myself connecting to it in any sort of meaningful way. And another kind of overstuffed one clocking in at 67 minutes with a lot of that just not feeling necessary, so This one landed at good tier. I don't think they have a bad album, but yeah, this one just doesn't really do much for me. But then they followed that up with Rainier Fog in 2018. A better start with this one with the one you know. It's got a bit of a stomp to it. Solid title track too. It's still missing a little tiny bit of that special sauce, but I feel like they're really kind of coming into their own here, and the energy is coming back. The kind of like darkness is seeping back into me. And then really bringing back the dark atmosphere for Red Giant, and similarly, I like the grim and bluesy drone. Deaf Ears, Blind Eyes, and So Far Under actually managed to scratch the same itch as like Dirt in a few places. And then Never Fade also really strikes that great balance between catchiness and darkness. I'm still not quite feeling Fly, but it feels a bit more balanced than some of the acoustic tracks on the last one. And overall, I gotta say that this is a pretty tight 53 minutes. It feels like they really took some of maybe the lessons learned on the last album, or for whatever reason, like everything just got like tightened up and improved here. Again, I'm surprised how much I enjoyed this album. I think that if they put out another one, I'd be kind of hyped if it's anything in line with this one, and I think it's at least as good as Black Gives Way to Blue. I'm also putting this one at fantastic. Y'all check out this playlist for more alternative rock rankings, or this for your personal YouTube recommendation. Again, let me know what you think of the new Mask, but that'll do it for now. Flight of Icarus signing off. I will see you in the trenches.